The year is 2025. The world of investing looks completely different from just a few years ago. AI dominates trading floors. Inflation is cooling down, but uncertainty is still in the air. And investors everywhere are asking the same question. What is next for the stock market? Is the bull run back? Or are we standing at the edge of another correction? Let's find out. Because today we're diving deep into stock market predictions for 2025 based on real data expert analysis and the forces shaping global markets right now. So grab your coffee, sit back, and let's decode what the smartest investors are seeing on the horizon. First, let's talk about the big picture. The U.S. stock market has been surprisingly resilient. Despite inflation, interest rate hikes, wars, and global slowdowns, the market keeps finding ways to rise. The S&P 500 hit new highs at the start of 2025, led by tech, energy, and healthcare. But experts warn this isn't your typical bull market. It's an AI-driven, data-fueled, sentiment-sensitive rally. That means emotions, algorithms, and expectations are driving prices, not just fundamentals. According to Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan analysts, the S&P 500 could reach between 5,400 and 5,800 points by the end of 2025 as earnings stabilize and the Federal Reserve slowly eases monetary policy. But there's a twist: not all sectors will move the same way. Let's break that down. Tech stocks continue to lead the charge. AI, semiconductors, and cloud computing are still the hottest spaces in 2025. Companies like NVIDIA, Microsoft, and AMD are dominating earnings. But new players in generative AI and robotics are stealing the spotlight. Experts predict the AI sector alone could grow by over 35% this year, as more businesses integrate AI tools into operations, customer service, and analytics. But there's also a warning: valuations are getting stretched. Many tech stocks are priced for perfection. If growth slows even slightly, we could see sharp pullbacks just like in the dot-com era. So while AI remains the powerful theme, investors need to be selective. Look for companies with real cash flow, strong balance sheets, and defensible technology. Now let's move to energy, one of 2025's most surprising comeback stories. Oil prices have stabilized between $75 and $90 per barrel, thanks to steady demand and limited supply increases. Meanwhile, the renewable energy sector is booming again, after a rocky 2023 and 2024. Solar, wind, and battery storage companies are seeing strong government support, especially in the United States and Europe. Investors are calling this the green rebound. In fact, some analysts expect clean energy exchange-traded funds to outperform the broader market this year, driven by infrastructure spending and rising global demand for sustainable technology. Next up, healthcare and biotech. The post-pandemic era transformed healthcare forever. AI-driven drug discovery, personalized medicine, and telehealth have gone mainstream. Companies that can combine health data, artificial intelligence analytics, and patient experience are seeing explosive growth. Experts predict that by the end of 2025, healthcare will be one of the top 3 performing sectors in the S&P 500. That includes biotech firms, pharmaceutical giants, and even digital health startups. If you are looking for steady long-term growth, this is one area to keep an eye on. But not everything is rosy. Some sectors are showing real cracks. Real estate is still struggling. High mortgage rates in 2024 hurt affordability, and even though rates are expected to ease slightly, the damage isn't gone. Commercial real estate, especially office spaces, continues to face massive challenges. Work-from-home trends are here to stay. Many companies have downsized their physical footprints. Experts say the real estate market might not fully recover until 2026 or later. So for now, REIT investors are focusing on logistics, data centers, and residential rentals, the segments still benefiting from digital and demographic shifts. Let's talk about interest rates and the Federal Reserve, because this is the single biggest factor shaping 2025. After years of aggressive rate hikes, the Fed is finally signaling a pause and possibly even a small cut later this year. Inflation has cooled to around 2.8%, and unemployment remains low. That combination gives the Fed room to ease slowly. And historically, when rates start falling, markets rally. But there's a catch: if inflation returns, the Fed could tighten again, triggering volatility. So 2025 may be a year of two halves, a strong start as optimism builds, followed by potential turbulence if inflation flares up again. Now, let's talk about something most investors overlook: corporate earnings. Earnings growth is expected to rise between 8% and 10% this year, with the biggest gains in tech, healthcare, and industrials. Companies that survived the tough years of 2022 and 2023 are now leaner and more efficient. AI automation has reduced costs, while global demand is slowly returning. But margins are thin, so even a small economic slowdown could impact profits fast. That's why experts suggest focusing on companies with pricing power, businesses that can raise prices without losing customers. Think of brands like Apple, Microsoft, and Coca-Cola, companies that dominate their space and set the tone for others. Now, what about international markets? In 2025, global investing is back in focus. Emerging markets are showing strength, especially in India, Southeast Asia, and parts of Latin America. India's stock market is one of the best performing globally, thanks to strong GDP growth and digital transformation. Brazil is benefiting from commodity exports and a stable currency. China, however, remains a wild card. Regulatory uncertainty and slow consumer spending are keeping many investors cautious. Still, some analysts believe Chinese tech stocks may be undervalued and could see a rebound later this year if economic conditions stabilize. So global diversification might finally pay off again. Let's move to one of the most exciting areas: AI-driven trading and automation. In 2025, more than 70% of all trades on Wall Street are being executed or influenced by algorithms. Machine learning models track everything from news headlines to social media sentiment to predict short-term price moves. This has made the market faster, smarter, and sometimes more unpredictable. That's why volatility remains high, even in bullish conditions. A single event, a Fed comment, a data leak, or a tweet can trigger massive algorithmic sell-offs or rallies within minutes. So experts recommend investors stay disciplined, set stop losses, manage position sizes, and avoid emotional trading. Because in this AI-driven world, patience and strategy still win. Now, let's talk about the investor mindset for 2025. The biggest mistake people make is chasing short-term trends. Everyone wants to find the next Tesla, the next Nvidia, or the next Bitcoin. But the truth is, the real winners are built slowly. They're companies with solid fundamentals, recurring revenue, and strong leadership. Experts like Warren Buffett and Ray Dalio keep reminding investors that the best returns come from time in the market, not timing the market. So instead of trying to predict every correction, build a portfolio that thrives in any environment. That means diversification across stocks, bonds, commodities, and yes, even alternative assets like crypto or gold. Speaking of crypto, it is still influencing equity markets. Bitcoin's recent halving cycle has renewed investor confidence. And as AI and blockchain continue to merge, tech investors are finding crossover opportunities between the two worlds. Some AI-driven crypto tokens are outperforming traditional assets, but experts warn, stay cautious. Regulation is still evolving, and volatility remains extreme. Still, many analysts believe blockchain-related stocks could benefit indirectly from the broader AI and automation boom. So what's the overall market outlook for 2025? Most experts agree on one thing: it's a year of selective opportunity. Not every stock will win, but the right ones in the right sectors could deliver massive returns. Expect moderate growth overall, with the S&P 500 potentially rising 8% to 12%. Tech, healthcare, and energy are the strongest bets. Financials, real estate, and discretionary spending may lag behind. Volatility will remain high. But long-term investors who stay consistent will come out ahead. Let's summarize the key themes shaping 2025. AI continues to transform industries from finance to manufacturing. 2. The Fed begins to ease policy, creating a tailwind for equities. 3. Earnings growth rebounds, but margins stay tight. 4. Global diversification returns, with Asia leading the way. 5. Volatility remains part of the game, driven by algorithms and global uncertainty. So if you are investing this year, focus on resilience, not hype. Balance innovation with stability. And remember, Every bull market has corrections, but long-term growth always rewards patience. Let's end with what the experts are saying. Jeremy Siegel from Wharton believes 2025 could be a year of normalization, where valuations cool slightly but the overall trend remains upward. Kathy Wood predicts continued strength in artificial intelligence, robotics, and genomics, calling it the new digital industrial revolution. And Morgan Stanley's analysts suggest a cautious optimism, saying that while markets may face short-term shocks, the fundamental outlook for U.S. equities remains strong. In short, 2025 might not be the year of wild profits or massive crashes. It's a year of steady growth, smart positioning, and long-term conviction. Because the investors who stay calm in uncertain times are the ones who build real wealth when others panic. 2025 isn't about predicting every move. It's about preparing for every possibility. It's about staying educated, disciplined, and focused. It's about knowing when to take risks and when to sit tight. And most importantly, it's about believing in the future. Because history shows that every market correction eventually leads to new highs. Every technological revolution creates new leaders. And every smart investor who stays the course wins in the end. The stock market in 2025 may be unpredictable, but opportunity is everywhere. All you need is knowledge, patience, and courage to take action. So whether you're investing in AI, energy, healthcare, or global markets, remember one thing. The future always rewards those who prepare for it today.